Sunday, October 16th, 2022, the 29th Sunday in Ordinary Time. A person's faith is tested in adversity. It is especially true when we are facing discouragement in prayer. After repeated prayers, if we find that God is not taking any action, most of us feel discouraged. Some will start complaining about God. Some will lose faith. And there are still others who will fall into self-doubt. One could accuse oneself of wrongdoings from the past and imagine God punishing them for their sins. Those who are in self-doubt are particularly vulnerable to witchcraft and other practices in order to achieve their objectives with the help of evil. The readings today help us to reflect on our own habits of prayer. The passage brings to mind some questions we have always wanted to ask. Why are we invited to pray constantly? What is the meaning of prayer? Jesus responds today with a parable of an unjust judge. The duty of the judge should be to protect the weak and the defenseless. But this man is wicked. He neither fears God nor cares about the people. He is totally unsympathetic to the widow who is asking for his attention on her case. The widow is a symbol of the defenseless and those exposed to abuse. She has been wronged and claims her rights, but no one listens to her. The poor all over the world understand this one thing: that justice is meant for those who have money and influence. Thus, the poor often choose not to fight for their rights and for justice for fear that they will become even poorer or even lose their lives. This poor woman had a single card in hand, and she played it. She pestered the judge with obstinacy at the cost of looking indiscreet. After a long wait, the judge decides to solve the case, not because he realizes his misbehavior, but because he is tired and annoyed by the insistence of the woman. He thinks, "This widow is troublesome. She pesters me and becomes unbearable." Who is the unjust judge? Who is the widow? To understand this, we need to know the historical juncture in which the words are spoken. We are in the 80s of the 1st century, when in Asia Minor a very violent persecution starts. Emperor Domitian claims that all should adore him as a god. The pagan religious institutions have surrendered, but the Christians have not. They cannot, as the book of Revelation says, bow before the beast. And for this, they undergo harassment and discrimination. Now it becomes clear who the widow of the parable is. It is the church of Luke, the church whose spouse is taken away. It is this community that awaits his coming, even though she may not know the day or the hour of his return, and that each day, with insistence, she is pleading, "Come, Lord Jesus." The Lord is answering the dilemma of the Lucan community. He asks a rhetorical question: "And will God not give justice to his chosen ones, who day and night cry to him?" And he follows this by a peremptory affirmation. "Yes, I tell you, he will bring justice to them soon, even if he makes them wait for a long time." A major temptation of Christians is to get discouraged in the face of a long wait for the spouse who delays and tolerates injustice. Seeing the inexplicable slowness of the judge, the widow could have resigned and fallen into despair to the fate of never obtaining justice. The Lord alerts the community against this danger, represented by discouragement and resignation to the thought that the spouse is not coming anymore to render justice. He will surely come, but will he find his chosen ones ready to welcome him? To some, his slowness could cause a loss of faith. So here is the message of the parable. Pray. Jesus has told us so. The evangelist tells us, he says so to inculcate the belief that it is necessary to pray always, without ceasing. Prayer is being in constant conversation and consolation with the Lord. Keep the arms of prayer raised to the Lord until evening, until the battle over discouragement is won. Finally, some delay in answering our prayers is worth the wait, since it helps us to appreciate the value of the answers to our prayers. What is immediately available is also considered cheap and is easily wasted. Time makes us discern what we really need. But discouragement should not happen in the process. Our strength, be it of faith or of our personality, is measured to the grace with which we handle discouragement. Pray. Pray always.